So even though I may not be the most fit person, I like to keep quite active. So a couple of years ago, I bought myself a bicycle, and with that a folding bicycle, so I can sort of take it on the train if need be, hop on, hop off. And to be honest, even though I love riding my bike, I wasn't making a great use of it. So lo and behold, at the back end of summer last year, I was just browsing around on YouTube and I stumbled across people doing Uber Eats deliveries on their bicycle. So straight away, this sort of clicked with my head. I thought, bicycle, I like riding a bicycle. Maybe I can make some extra money out of this. So what I did, I started off watching a few people on YouTube doing Uber Eats delivery, see how easy it is, such and such and such. And to be honest, it seemed rather simplistic. So with all that being put together, I decided to embark on a journey of trying to deliver with my bicycle on Uber Eats. So before we get into this, let me just explain my reasons for doing this, because some people I've told, they've kind of looked at it a bit funny, but I think realistically it kind of makes sense. Or I should say, in my head, it really makes sense. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. So for me, first reason for doing Uber Eats deliveries on my bicycle is 1, to get exercise. Number 2, I suppose, would be to make a bit of extra money. I do have a full-time job, so I'm using this as a way to make extra pocket money. I'm not using it as like a full-time job for my main source of income. And I suppose number 3, I get to know my area more, my local area. I found roads that I didn't know about, and now I can walk around, drive around and use them as shortcuts, and it's really paid off. So yeah, with all of that put together, I decided to get on my bike and make deliveries with Uber Eats. So to begin with, I looked on the Uber Eats delivery rider, driver, whatever you want to call it, their website, the signing up process, and they make it sound pretty easy. Anyway, as I'm sure other YouTubers have said, be careful. It's not an easy process. It's not really a job you can just walk into, like say for example, today you think, oh yeah, I'll sign up for this. It's not a job you can just walk into like within the next few days or even next week, unfortunately. The first thing I did, I kind of did this backwards. I think you're supposed to have all your accounts set up and everything. But what I did, I went ahead first and got the bag. And this was sort of like a little acid test. If you go to the Uber Eats gear website, you can find all the gear that, you might need for your bicycle, for your motorcycle, whatever you want to deliver with. But of course, Uber Eats like to make the most out of you, and, things are expensive. So the bag I got, which I found would suit all my needs on a bicycle, was the large backpack with expanding pizza pocket. If you look on the Uber Eats gear website, they are selling it for £35. But what I did, I went on eBay. Like I say, this was the acid test. I managed to find one right here. It's really large. I can't really get it in the shop, but it has a main pocket here, which you unzip. This pocket here does expand outwards like that, so you can put pizza boxes in it. You've got 2 sort of stretchy elastic pockets on each side. So one side I put my cycle lock, and the other side I put a water bottle. And on the back you have the back straps, and it does, if you are carrying like a heavy load in your sack, you can clip it together around your body, so it adds more security, so it doesn't, if you go over bumps and everything like that. Uber Eats, their official site, sells this for £35, this bag alone. Delivery is going to cost you at least £6.75, but I went on eBay and I can't remember the delivery. It was probably, something reasonable you'd expect for a large item like this, but I managed to pick it up for £20. The only problem with it, it's not really a problem, there's a few stains on the bottom, but I gave it a good wash. It doesn't smell. They do advise you to wash your bag regularly. What I do is just once I come home from doing deliveries at night, I just let it air, and so far so good. So anyway, yeah, I would advise people to go on eBay, have a look there. You probably pick something up for much cheaper. If you're getting this pack and you can get it for less than £35, anything less than £35 plus the postage, I think it's a steal. Just go for it, even if it is only like about £5 difference. So I had my bag. I thought, that's it, I'll sign up. Within the next week or so I could be making deliveries, making some money. But no, unfortunately, it's not like that. So I submitted all my details to Uber Eats just before I went on a holiday for a week, thinking, oh, that'll be it, I'll get an appointment to do all of it. You have to do the DBS background check and everything like that, which is, I suppose is fair enough. But yeah, I thought maybe they'd send me an appointment within the next week or so, or, I could maybe choose something like a week after, things like that. I wasn't in a particular rush at the time, but it's very tricky and it's all a bit of a tease. Now, from what I can remember, because I did this back in September last year, Uber Eats, their website, they don't explain the whole process to you, so it is very misleading. So with that being said, I hope this video really helps you if you are planning to sign up to Uber Eats to become a delivery driver. Right, so first things first, like I said, you submit all your details to the website, you know, like your name, address, all generic things like that. I can't remember if at that point, I think you choose what sort of vehicle you want to use, car, a motorcycle or a bicycle, whatever it is you're allowed to choose. And I thought as well with a bicycle it might be a bit easier because you don't have to have like vehicle insurance, anything like that. There's no sort of vehicle records to record. And yeah, so it just gets more complicated. So once you've submitted all your details, you are informed to book an appointment at I think it's called a Greenlight Hub. I might have that wrong, but you can check that out on their website. And it says you're supposed to book an appointment yourself. And the thing is, it gives you this website where you can't book an appointment for at least 2 weeks. So like I said, if you wanted to sign up today, you're not going to get an appointment, you know, to have this appointment is for your background check, them to verify all your documents. And the first appointment you can get is in at least 2 weeks time. So if I were to sign up today, I wouldn't be able to start working you know, until the end of a month, and we're only like sort of about a quarter of the way through this month at this time. So the website is really frustrating. So what it is, you get like a little calendar view, you select your day, and I always found, and I was doing this abroad, mind you, so I couldn't access the internet all the time. So it was really frustrating. I had to constantly refresh the page. It would tell me there's no appointments available. I did see one YouTuber mention that it's best to look at it at a certain time in the day. If you can find that out, that's good for you. Certain time in the day, and that's when you get a list of all fresh appointments. But I found I was checking like every 15 minutes or so whenever I could get a good signal abroad, and it would always tell me no appointments available, or it would give me a time in the middle of the day. Like, so if you have a full-time job, I found that I luckily managed to get half day off to go to an appointment in the afternoon. But it would give me really inconvenient times if you have a full-time job, and I'm not entirely sure if they operate on a weekend as well, so that kind of eliminates that. So eventually I finally got an appointment. Like I said, I started this whole process sort of mid to late August last year, and my appointment wasn't until the 6th of September, so just think of that. I know I was on holiday, I couldn't have worked at the time, but if anyone else wants to try and work immediately, unfortunately it's not going to happen, at least not in my experience. So yeah, if you're in London, I think the nearest Green Hub place is in Aldgate, so you can get the Metropolitan line or the Hammersmith and City line that goes to Aldgate East. And if you go to Aldgate Station, it's literally, there's an alleyway just to one of the sides of the station. Just walk through there and you'll cross the road and you'll find the building straight there. I had no idea. Google Maps instructed me to walk all the way around the block. It wasn't that hard, but I could have saved at least 5 minutes or something like that. So yeah, keep that in mind. For London, it's in Aldgate. So this whole Green Hub appointment, I don't really want to slag anyone off, but my experience, it wasn't all that. So when I went in, there were 2 queues, one for if you want to sort of, you know, have your background. I think this is for just Uber taxi drivers as well. If you want to queue up for doing rides or deliveries with your car, like a motorized vehicle, queue in this lane. And there was a separate sign if you're using a bicycle, use this line. So what I did, I queued up there, and as I got closer to the counter, the person behind the desk was quite rude, and she said, no, you have to queue over there. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, but there's a sign here telling me to queue here. And she's like, no, just go there. It was really, you know, very abrupt, wasn't polite. I can understand that, you know, it's just a conveyor belt of people coming in. You might not enjoy your job, but I do appreciate some sort of politeness. So with that being said, I had to go to the back of the queue. It was a pretty big queue, and while I was queuing up, someone else was having an argument. I think they were probably arguing about the sort of courtesy shown to them and, you know, like misguided information and things like that. So just from my experience, it wasn't a friendly and welcoming place. But anyway, you have to do it. You have to go through it to get the job done. And even the person who saw me, they were running a few minutes late, but I suppose at the time I was very busy, so keep this in mind. I'd say you need a good amount of time to go there. It's not just a walk in, walk out sort of thing. I think the people that want to help you just want to verify all your documents, so make sure you bring everything that they ask for, because I would hate to have had to go there, found I didn't have something, and then, you know, be turned away. So I can't remember off the top of my head what documents you need. Definitely, I think they send you a form to fill out, print that or fill that out. I think even though they did have one there for me to fill out on the day, but, you know, I did it just in case. Like I said, I wouldn't want to go there and be turned away. Driving license, even if you are using a bicycle, I do believe you need a valid driving license. Maybe a passport as well, if I can remember correctly, and the usual thing like a utility bill to sort of prove your address and things like that on your bank account. So then when they pay you, they pay directly into your bank account and it all goes smoothly. Right, so if you think you're now all set and ready to go, you might be wrong. So unless for whatever reason you've recently had a DBS check, I would assume you can submit that to them. I've never had to have a DBS check. I've never been in a job where it involves looking at, you know, past criminal convictions, which I don't have at all. But yeah, so the DBS check costs you £36. If it were up to me, I would rather have just paid it on the, you know, at the time of the appointment. But unfortunately, Uber Eats doesn't work like that. So what they do, £36, they tell you they take it over a 3-week period. If you earn £12 in a delivery week, they will take that from and put it towards your DBS check. So basically what that means is, say, for example, your first week you earn, you do enough deliveries to earn £14. You will only get £2 because the £12 from that will go towards your DBS check. The next week, same thing. If you did £16, you will only get £4 and £12 will go towards your DBS check. And then the third week, if you do £16 again, let's just say, you get £4 and then £12 goes towards your DBS check. So that then totals 12, 12, 12 into £36, and that pays off your DBS check. And at the end of 3 weeks, you've only earned, what did I say, £4, £4 and £2. You've only earned £10 in your first week. So being on a bicycle, obviously you won't get as much, you know, you won't be able to get around much as someone on a motorbike or a scooter or things like that. So that was a bit of a kick in the teeth. So bear that in mind as well. If you're doing it on a bike, bicycle, sorry, you're not going to be earning your money straight away. There's going to be a whole lot of hurdles. But once you get past that, let the good times roll. But unfortunately, another thing I want to sort of critique Uber Eats about is you will, because you're employed as a self-employed contractor or something like that, self-employed person, you will have to manage your income taxes with HM Revenue and Customs. You are going to have to do that yourself. Unfortunately, there's not a great deal of information at all on Uber Eats site. I don't know if they've updated it now, but I couldn't find any information. I tried getting in touch with people, you know, the actual Uber Eats people on Twitter, through email, there was nothing. Phone call, they didn't seem too sure. They just said, yeah, I think it's, you know, you're self-employed, so you're gonna have to do it yourself, but there's no sort of information on anything like that. So if you can get any advice anywhere, I'm not even entirely sure myself yet because I haven't had to pay it for the previous tax year. Get some advice if you're confused or you have no idea. Luckily, I have someone who can help me, and that's going to be a whole laugh when I have to do that. To be legal, you are going to have to pay the income tax yourself. It's not going to be a sort of pay-as-you-earn scheme like in a sort of regular job where it's automatically deducted from your monthly wages. Right, so I'm finally gonna have some good things to say about this. So delivering on a bicycle. Now it does sound daunting, but like I said, one of my main reasons for doing this was to get exercise. So I put this into perspective. I always wanted to go to the gym. I used to pay, you know, the regular thing, £20–25 a month for a gym, but that's all in the past. At my workplace, we have a small gym and it's a very cheap price for £10 a month. At one point, I was going straight for about 6 or 7 months. Then eventually I just lost the motivation for it and I stopped going. To put this into perspective, I was paying £10 a month to do something I didn't really enjoy doing. I do enjoy riding my bicycle. So what I did, at least for cardio exercise, I canceled my gym membership, ride around my bicycle, and you can earn on a good night, the £10 in this case, with 2 or 3 deliveries, you know, like just like that. So that's in a week. So I was spending £10 a month and I can earn at least £10 a week, like in one night delivering on my bicycle. So that makes sense. I get good exercise and I make use of my bike, which I paid a lot of money for. Good thing about bicycles as well, I've spoken to a few delivery drivers while I've been waiting for orders. They say to me like, whoa, you're doing it on a bicycle? I'm like, yeah, do it, you know, exercise and that, you know, obviously you're not going to make so much as them, what have you. But they said, oh, that's really good actually, because you can pretty much almost park anywhere. You know, you can take the no through roads that cars and motorcycles legally shouldn't take. So that's really good as well. You know, it's easy to get around. The only downfall with doing it on a bicycle that I've found is, you know, thankfully this isn't my full-time job. I have a full-time job, so I don't have to rely on this. If it's raining or, you know, anything like that, I wouldn't advise going out on your bicycle unless you really have to. And one tip I want to give you, if you are in the same sort of situation like me, it's really disheartening, especially for me because I got issues. I found like all day I'm at work, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm pumped for this, as sad as it sounds. You know, I want to go out tonight, get some exercise, earn some money. And then all of a sudden you get home and it starts raining, and it's really disheartened me. But I would say try your best not to let that get to you if you are in a similar situation. Just think, hey, this isn't my main source of income. You know, there will be other nights. I can do them then. As well as if you're on a bicycle, just think when the summer and the good weather comes, it is going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to the summer, you know, or the springtime at least. Stay out for a good few hours, start earlier in the day on the weekends. It's going to be good. Make that money, get some good exercise. All right, so I want to give you some tips before I sign off on this video. My first tip, as I've sort of touched on already, is I wouldn't really consider this as a main source of income. So I have, you know, sort of looked over other drivers' apps, and they have got like bucket loads of money in their account on that day that they've earned. But I think, you know, they're on scooters, motorcycles, things like that. And I think they're probably out all day, every day. So with me, if I come home in the evening, I tend to go out at night, say around 7 o'clock, 7:30 latest, for 2 or 3 hours. On a good day, I've earned about just under £30 or something like that. That might not sound a lot, but if you can get a good run of days like that, just think about it. Say you do 3 days and you can get at least £25 each time or something like that, you know, from about, that averages around 6 deliveries in my experience. So £25, multiply that by 3, you're gonna get £75 a week. So that's £75 extra money. If in an ideal world where the weather's good and you could do that, you know, for 4 weeks straight, think of how much that's gonna put in your pocket. But bear in mind, you do have to save some at the end of the tax year to pay your taxes. Tip number 2, so if you're delivering on a bicycle, like I've already said, try not to get too disheartened if the weather stops you from doing so. It is a real kick in the teeth, especially if you are trying to save up for something or you are in need for cash, you know, and the weather stops you. It's a real kick in the teeth, but it's not the end of the world. And also, I should mention with this, if you do earn money, you can cash out early. So what happens at the end of every week, Uber will sort of send you an email and say, here's your paycheck, and it goes into your bank account within 2 working days. So you get the email on Monday, and I've found that the money goes into my account on a Wednesday. If you cash out, I don't think it operates on weekends, so sometimes it might not be ideal to cash out. But say, for example, if you work on a Monday, you could use the cash out option, and hopefully you'll get the money in your account by Thursday. So that's pretty good. So yeah, if weather's an issue for you, you can do that if you're in need for the cash as soon as possible. Tip number 3, which is a very good tip in my opinion, know your area. So I deliver in my local area. I don't go into like the sort of central London or anything like that. I deliver in my local area, so I know quite a few of the roads, and I am learning more of the roads. So sometimes the Uber Eats app navigation system will tell you to go all the way around, you know, here, there and everywhere. But in your mind, you know a shortcut, you know, even on a bicycle especially, it makes it a whole lot easier. You can use these shortcuts, you can get to your delivery much quicker. And in this job, time is money. If you're, you know, stuck on a job waiting for an order or something like that, it's going to take time out of your day. And yeah, time is money. So if you can find shortcuts, get to know your area, learn the routes and things like that, and it will really help you. Tip number 4. Number 4 is I would advise to use the Google Maps app rather than the Uber Eats in navigation system. Now, it does tell me that it is using Google Maps, but I found that sometimes it's not very accurate. Sometimes it will take me, you know, like 1 street over or things like that. And I did have one real big issue one time. I got a double order from a restaurant. It directed me to the address of the second person I was supposed to deliver to, but it was giving me the contact details of the first person. So it's like, you know, first and second. So I tried contacting the first person to say, are you at this address that I've been directed to? And they said, no, I'm all the way here, which would have been the second address that I would have had to go to. So I ended up wasting at least 20 minutes cycling to the second person's address, and I couldn't drop off their food there because I couldn't contact them to mark it as delivered on the app. So it would have been completely crazy. Maybe I could have got around it, but it was a nerve-wracking moment. So I had to cycle all the way back to the first address, which I had to sort of get from the customer themselves rather than see it in the app, and then use Google Maps to direct myself there. I hope this makes sense, because in my head it does. And so by the time I got there, the delivery had taken maybe about half an hour. And of course the person was upset. Luckily, I think the person, a family member of the person I was delivering to was just walking in the front door at the time. I explained the situation to them, they were fine, but I don't think the actual person in the household who made the order was completely happy, but it wasn't my fault. So yeah, I ended up cycling to the other address all the way back again. The overall order probably took me about 40-45 minutes, which was a real pain in the arse, because that's like at least 20 minutes or so wasted. I could have done maybe 1 or 2 deliveries in that time. Thankfully, the second person was fine about it as well. I told them the app's crazy, you know, I'm gonna complain about it. And luckily they were fine. And I did mention this to Uber Eats. I mentioned the whole situation. They said, thank you for your feedback, we'll take this on board. I haven't heard a word since. So since then, I often, like 98% of the time, let's say, I use Google Maps. I get the address and postcode in the Uber Eats app, switch straight to Google Maps, and it directs me and it tells me exactly where the place is on the left or the right. So if you need to change lanes or what have you, you know, get across to that side on your bicycle, Google Maps makes it a whole lot easier. So yeah, with all that being said, I would advise using Google Maps. And lastly, my last tip for you, it's a bit of a dog-eat-dog world out there. So I found in one restaurant, I've been standing there in line patiently. Other drivers just walk straight in and I don't know, they built up some rapport with the people working in the restaurant and they give them their food straight away. And then when I eventually think, oh wait, like you have to make yourself known here. It's not the sort of thing they can clearly see you're wearing all the high-vis gear, you've got an Uber Eats bag. You have to talk to them, unfortunately, you know, like, so it's a real dog-eat-dog world. So as soon as I sort of made my presence known, they just brought the food out from like, say, a heater or something, you know, where they're keeping it warm. So the food was ready. I could have had it, but you know, I think on their behalf, once again, they may not like their job. They probably get a lot of crap from people, but I don't mean to give crap to people, you know, it's a bit unfair, but it is what it is. So I'd say make yourself known. I do want to give, sadly, a mention to McDonald's. McDonald's take their time with their orders, and it's not just me saying that. I've seen other people on YouTube, they take at least 10 minutes sometimes, even though there's lots of stuff. It seems to be very disorganized. So once again, yeah, as you go in there, try and make yourself known. Don't be rude, don't be a dick. Like, just make yourself known. Hey, I'm here to pick up an order. Show them the order number, then they get working on it. The other night I was at McDonald's, I was waiting there, I'd say at least 15 minutes, and 3 other drivers had their food ready. And this was after as well, I'd been acknowledged, you know, so, and even one of the kitchen staff came out and said, like, what's going on? I can see this guy, he's been standing here for a long time. And eventually got my order. I explained to the customer, you know, they took so long to prepare the food, and thankfully they were all right. So that's the thing, you know, these restaurants could take a lot of time to prepare the order, but then once the food's with you, it depends on your customer. If they're not happy about it, you're going to get the brunt of it. But as long as you get paid, I suppose that's what matters at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, we're all working to live, not living to work. So I think I've rambled on long enough. I do hope I've covered everything that you might have questions about if you are thinking of signing up to become an Uber Eats delivery driver. If there is anything that I might have missed that you're not sure about and I can help, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try and reply to it. Hopefully I do know the answer to it. So overall, yeah, for the reasons I explained, I would recommend it. I'm really waiting for the good weather. I do enjoy being out on my bike. You know, you do get times where quiet times, it's cold, things like that. You know, you're just waiting around, but eventually it does pick up. I've had quiet nights, I've had busy nights. I've sometimes had to turn down deliveries because either I want to go home or I'm just like, you know, I've on the way to pick up one order already and the next place is so far away. So yeah, let me just say as well, the app does tell you which restaurant it is, so you can decline if you don't fancy going there. But I don't know if it sort of has like a sort of what do they call it, like algorithm, whereas if you keep declining jobs, they might not send enough jobs your way, so bear that in mind. Just a quick note as well on gear, I wear the bicycle helmet, I wear gloves, high-vis gloves, and I recently bought some full finger gloves, touchscreen, so you can use your phone. I got high-vis jacket. I wear, you know, a few layers at the moment. It's really cold. I wear a few layers underneath. On the bottom, I've actually got some old ski trousers I use, and they keep my legs very warm indeed. Got some of those exercise tights underneath as well. So in the summer, I'll probably wear either just the shorts or the tights and shorts on top of that. But yeah, make yourself visible on the road. You know, allow other people, drivers, to see you. Keep yourself safe. In my opinion, follow the rules. Just be safe, earn your money wisely, and yeah, don't be reckless. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave this video here. Thanks very much for watching. Like I said, I hope this does help you. I've tried to fit everything in there that I can remember. So if you have any questions, anything I might have missed that I might be able to help with, leave a comment and I'll get back to you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best. Just want to give a shout out to my girlfriend for getting me this lovely shirt for me to wear in my videos. It's a great shirt, so I'm going to make use of this.